Hey guys, welcome to section 3. Now I know cutting out those images in section 2, that was tedious, and it might have been hard. You guys might have struggled a little bit. I'm going to show you later on how we're going to make that process super easy, and you won't have to cut out images maybe ever again. I still do it occasionally if I'm in a rush, but we'll talk about that later. Right now, let's get into arranging these images so it's pleasing to the eye. Now, I've got some rules. We'll go over them in the video as we progress here. These are just kind of guidelines. I'll type them up for you too, so you guys have my notes that I have. You'll be able to download those. Make sure you click that link and get those downloaded. But for now, let's just jump back into the computer and start arranging these images. Here we are back in the computer, and I just want to pause before we get going on this. One thing that I didn't touch on yet, and I think that I really need to, that's like kind of important here, is that we're getting all these different shots because I've shot them ahead of time. So what I mean by that is that in the arena, when I'm shooting these pictures at an event, I'm thinking about making custom collages for everybody. So before the event even starts, I have researched the event that I'm shooting, right? And I know it well. And I've been, at this point, I've been shooting it for quite a while, so when I introduced these custom collages at first, it was like, well, I need to make sure that I always have multiple shots of every person throughout the day or whatever. So in each run, I'm getting multiple shots in each run so that even if somebody wants a custom collage from just one single run, we have enough pictures that are at different angles, and the person looks different in each shot and whatever. So the thing that we don't want to do, and the thing we want to avoid, I guess, doing, is having a whole bunch of shots that are all exactly the same. So in barrel racing, for example, a lot of barrel racing photographers will only take a picture, the classic shot on second barrel. Now that's fine, and that shot does sell the best, but all these other shots do sell as well as individual prints. And then when you do have somebody that wants to make a collage like this, you have a lot of different shots to choose from. So you'll see in this example that we cut out earlier in the last section, all of those pictures were different. We have an award shot, we have a head-in shot, we got a heel-in shot, we've got one with both partners in it. I had some other shots of him walking back up the arena that I decided not to use in this, but generally what I'm trying to get at here is make sure you have a lot of shots to choose from, and that makes this process easier and it makes them look better in the final end result. So instead of having a whole bunch of second barrel shots that all look the same and they're just maybe different sizes, or maybe they got a different shirt on or something, you have a whole bunch of different things. So you've seen what I do in like a team roping. If it was a barrel racing, for example, I'm going to get 2 shots at each barrel, one going in, one coming out. So I get that classic shot for sure, and then I get another shot when they're leaving the barrel. And then I get 3 or 4 shots of them riding home. You'll see 1 or 2 of those shots is like a full body, horse and rider, the whole thing. You can see the dirt to their hat. And then I'll get some tighter shots as they get closer to me, and all you'll see is the rider down to like maybe their knees or whatever. And then you'll see the horse's head and torso is in there, but the horse's legs are out of the frame. So that just gives us some more variation, some more different things we can do, and gives us a little bit different look. So without further ado, let's just get into the editing of this thing, and we'll take you through the process. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to want to do with this is crop it to the right size. So now that we have all these pictures cut out, we can hit the C on the keyboard, and that'll switch us to the crop tool, or you can just go over to crop tool. Now for this one, just because I sell a lot of these very commonly, this is a 2-to-1 ratio, and you'll see over here in this menu that I've dropped down, I've already have a preset for it, but if you don't yet, you can hit 2 and then 1, and that's a 2-to-1 ratio. Or the other thing that you can do if you want to be more precise, or you don't know the math or know the ratio, is you can just go over here and you can type in 24 by 12. So we can do a 24 inch by 12 inch. And you'll have to actually change this drop down arrow to width times height times resolution. And then you can type in 24 inches by 12 inches by 300 DPI or whatever. And then that will crop this image and resize it to fit properly on a 12 by 24 canvas. So what I normally sell a lot of these, like my best seller is the 12 by 24 vivid metal, partly because I have one on display and people say, well, I want that because that's what they see and that's what they want to have. I used to have an 11 by 14 there, and that was the hottest seller because people want what they see. Okay, so now we're going to just start turning on the layers here, and you'll see me select a layer and move it around a little bit. You know, this is kind of roughly, we're just roughing stuff in. We're going to put it roughly where I want it, and then we're going to be able to endlessly move this until we get the desired effect. So what I'm trying to do with each layer here is make sure that every photo and every layer here is either on top of or underneath of another photo. We want it to be layered. So one of my rules here is that nothing should be floating. So that means that we're going to fill in the bottom of this frame with dirt. So you'll see that first picture that I laid out there, the first team rope and run with that heel shot, that's going to be ground right under there. We're going to bring that dirt back in. So I'm just kind of preparing for that. And then this shot here, you see I drag it below here. So you just rearrange these layers here and it rearranges them front to back. So up and down over here on the right side is front to back as you look at it. So it creates depth. And you can see that Ben's partner here, she's my friend too. Her, you know, since she is a lighter skin tone and she has blonde hair, she really stands out against that black steer. So that's why I put her head right there. And I'm trying to make like triangles with people's heads. So you'll see Ben and his partner in this award shot, and then Ben in his heel shot straight below. That makes a triangle there. And then Ben and Ben, and then his partner on the head side there, that makes a triangle, right? And so then I'm making a third triangle over here on the left with the two shots of Ben on his head horse and his heel horse, and then his partner in the awards picture here. So triangles tend to like look really good. They're, you know, they tend to be aesthetically pleasing, I guess. That's what I'm getting at here. So we're just going to kind of make some of these bigger, make some of them smaller. You know, you can see like that tail that, you know, I did a poor job of cutting out on purpose because a lot of times that tail gets out of the way anyway. It's out of frame. So why am I going to waste a lot of time cutting it out and making it look perfect? That's part of the beauty of these custom collage things. And so I know usually what I'll do here is I'll take that hero shot. You always want to have one shot that's like your hero shot. And that's where you see somebody's face very clearly, generally speaking. And it's like a unique picture. Like one of these shots is not like the others, right? If we're back in Sesame Street. So in this particular set of images, I'm using that award shot as the hero shot. Now you'll see here, I'm going to my brushes and I'm hunting down. It already had it selected, but I want to show you. I want to show you the brushes that I have for smoke. Now you'll see there's quite a few here. If you scroll down even more, I have a lot of smoke brushes. I have one that's in particular my favorite. We're going to use that one today. But I've used all of these at some point in time or another. I do like to buy brushes. You can make brushes very easily, and you know, smoke brushes are a little bit harder, but you can make your own brushes if that's your thing and that's what you want to do. I prefer to just buy the brushes. People have put in, you know, the effort already, and they're really inexpensive, and you can use them for unlimited products. It just doesn't matter. So this brush that I have here, I'm going to share with you guys when you guys get this brush and you download it for yourselves. It'll have the like settings already in there, but you can experiment with it. I'll do another video here in the bonus section of how we tweak these brushes so that it spins a little bit each time, rotates, so it looks like a different brush every time you click the mouse. And that's really nice. It's really handy for this sort of thing. So as you'll see here, now that I'm using this, I'm on the layer mask. You'll see on the right hand side there where it's black. I have the layer mask selected, and then you'll see I'm using a white brush, and then I just hit X on the keyboard, and that swaps me between my background color and my foreground color. So now I've swapped to black, and then I accidentally clicked on the tail with black, so that hid part of the tail. Then I'm going in with white on the tail to kind of feather it back in there and just kind of bring in a little bit more, and so this is just the beauty of using layer masks, is you can bring in a brush like this and just paint over your layer mask in black and white and gray and any shade or combination of black and white, and you can show or hide parts of your layer mask. Now, I suggest not using a soft round brush. I kind of hate soft round brushes. What that means, I guess that's like a technical term, but basically a soft round brush is just what you think of it is. It's a circular brush, the standard one that you see when you open up the brushes for your very first time. There's a hardness slider on there, and that's set all the way to 0, making it completely soft, quote unquote soft. And so the soft round brush is just like a gradient from like 100% opacity in the dead center to 0% opacity on the outside. And, I see a lot of people try to use those for all these different sort of things. I see people all the time in these like photo groups that try to use those to like cut out the background and whatever. We're using the pen tool, and we're being much more precise and calculated. And it's a little bit cleaner and easier if you use the pen tool, but I digress. I'm just kind of checking the main, seeing if there's anything that I need to touch up with the smoke brush, because it does a pretty good job of making it sort of look like it's actual hair, and that we've done a nice job of cutting out hair like on the mane and tail and that sort of thing. But now I'm just going in here and bringing that dirt in like I talked about a second ago. And you'll see that the outline of that brush, you'll see it just like looks like the brush is just spinning, but it's just picking like a random direction every time I click it. So each one of these is just a click, 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 click. And this is real time. I haven't slowed this down or sped this up. I'm just click, 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 click really fast around here. And it's kind of making it look like it's like dusty, like there's dust flying in the air here. Here I'm going to switch. I hit X on the keyboard to switch to black, and now I'm painting over this area black, because another one of my rules here is that I don't want to have any hard lines. So you don't want to see where the photograph ended, except for like the very edges of the actual final product. But within here, I don't want to have these straight lines of this tail here. So I'm going to come in here, show you how I kind of fix this tail. We're going to end up using a smoke brush, the same exact smoke brush, later on in the next section. And then it's going to make this totally go away. It's going to make this look like it's real and it's fine and like there's no problems. So even though, as we look at this up close right now, and you see me switching back and forth between a white brush and a black brush, and, like kind of showing some parts of this and then hiding other parts and then going back and forth there. It kind of looks a little bit messy here, but by that time we're all the way finished with this, it's going to actually look really good. And it's going to look like we did it on purpose, because we are going to use another smoke brush, and it is going to look like it's very natural. So it's going to blend well. So I'm just picking up the next picture here. The award shot, we don't need to use the smoke brush on that. You can't see the ground in that picture anyway, so there's no need for that. And then they're just on the black, banner, the extreme banner here for Extreme Team Roping, which is the roping that my friend Ben here owns. He's the man in charge of that. So And you can see here, I'm just bringing in all of this dirt and I'm bringing it down low all the way to the bottom of the frame here, because one of my rules is nothing should be floating. Everything should be standing in dirt or be out of frame. So I want that dirt to go all the way to the edge of the frame. And then I'm just going to cover up this harsh line in case you can see it. But I'm fairly confident that's going to get covered up by something else anyway. But it's just a base, it's easier to just fix it now instead of turning on all these layers and then wondering, well, what layer is that harsh line that I see in? And then having to go back through all your layers and fix it. So in this one, we don't have much choice but to have like a harsh layer so close to there. So I'm going to show you how we're going to fix that in just a second and kind of make that all disappear. But I like to do these individually. So one little picture at a time, and come in here and fill these in, because if they look good as an individual, when we put them all together, they're going to look really good. When we try to just leave it all turned on, all the layers turned on and see them all, then that's when we run into some problems and it gets harder. So it's better to just do it one at a time. So you'll see this gap here, and that one in the top left is basically floating because there's transparency below it. You can see pixels, or you can see through all the dirt below it because the dirt didn't go down to the other dirt. So instead of taking the one in the bottom left corner and raising that dirt up, what we're going to do is we're going to grab a section of dirt from the photo on the far right, and I'm going to copy that. So what we're going to do is hit M on the keyboard for marquee tool. Once I get this photo lined out here. So I just wanted to hide all the other photos. We're going to hit M on the keyboard for marquee tool. And then we're going to just drag from off the canvas and grab a section of this dirt here. And once it's highlighted and you see these marching ants, you can hit Command J on the keyboard. That copies that. You want to make sure you're on the photo there. And then that'll just copy whatever is in that little selection of marching ants. And then we're going to hit Command T on the keyboard to transform. Goes in your transform tool. And you can see right there, that's pretty close. I mean, the dirt is pretty close to the same. We're going to adjust it here shortly so it is the same. But what I want to do is just take this smoke brush and come in here a little bit, switch this to a black brush and kind of hide and feather this in, and just go right along that edge with a small smoke brush just to kind of help it blend in together, and then we'll adjust this a little bit here, and you'll see that that dirt kind of looks like it was there the whole time pretty soon, right? So that'll kind of hide to your eye. We're going to cover this up anyway with a bunch of layers, so we're nowhere near done, of course. But then I just took this adjustment layer here with this tone curve, and I just kind of play with it a little bit to kind of make the dirt match as close as I can to each other. So it looks like it was supposed to be there the whole time. Okay, and before I even started doing any of this bringing in the dirt, I had arranged all these pictures and I pretty much put them where I think I want them. Now I can still adjust them later, and I will a little bit in the next episode, the next section. But one of the things that I want to talk about right now is making sure that nothing is floating, like I talked about earlier, and not only just floating up and down in this kind of a shot, but floating as far as like two things being on the same ground that are in the same original photograph. So if you look at this heel shot that Ben has right in the very front, the very closest thing to you on the very bottom, and his partner Glover, I want to make sure that that Glover and the steer are on the same piece of dirt as Ben and his horse are. So you can see that it would be easy to just do the smoke brush around Ben's horse's tail to his front hooves. But there's that little section there where his rope is touching the ground, and you want to make sure that they're connected so that all these pieces are connected all the way across, because that can look weird. It can look like they're floating on clouds and things kind of get strange. So you want to be able to see, you know, that these two things go together and they stay together, and that little piece of dirt in between them just helps like the mind not think that that's weird. Okay, so this is going to conclude this section here. In the next section, we're going to put a background in. We're gonna adjust the layers so it looks like they have depth. So in this shot right here that we're looking at, some of these things kind of look like they're starting to blend together. And it's, if we just printed it like this, it'd be kind of boring, right? It would have a white background for one, and for two, it'd be sometimes hard to see the difference between different shots and that sort of thing. So we want each image to stand on its own and to be clear that that is an image by itself, and this is where one horse starts and another one ends and that sort of thing. And same thing with people, you know, a lot of these you'll see Ben has the same black shirt on in a lot of them. So if we just put several of these together, if it was just of him and it was just him with a black shirt on, you know, and his horse, you know, if he just had the one horse in there, then it would be hard to tell where one horse and rider started and one horse and rider ended, and have some kind of separation in there. So in the next thing, that's what we're going to do. But for now, go ahead and practice that. Make sure you're caught up before you move on to the next section. And we'll see you as soon as you get there. Thanks.